Hello everyone, Dunkurtin here, and welcome back to the Nita Cup 750k-5. So I know I said that I'd probably be doing a winners bracket next, but the way things work out from now on, we actually have 2 losers brackets per winners bracket. So this time around I'll be doing round 3 losers bracket A, which will be followed by the winners bracket, and then we'll have losers bracket B for round 3, which will be the results from just the losers bracket going head to head again. And then round 4, the losers from the winners bracket will go into losers bracket A for round 4. So that's how it's all going to work. So for today we have all the first entries into the losers bracket. So the ones that won their first round in the first losers bracket versus those who dropped down from the winners bracket in the last video. Alright, so let's get this all started then. Alright guys, for our first matchup today, we have the Steel Tiger going up against the Heavy Cruiser Toyama. So a lot of Daka coming out from both sides here. Looks like the Steel Tiger is struggling to get a decent amount of height above the water though, and has actually crashed down. That could be pretty bad for him. The Toyama has a lot of smoke to negate most of those lasers, and he has a lot of shields, so looks like the majority of the damage going in favor of the Heavy Cruiser Toyama at the moment. Not sure whether the Steel Tiger is capable of getting itself back up out of the water. Get to see the Toyama's torpedoes in action for once. So yeah, right now we've just got a lot of damage on the Steel Tiger, which does not seem to be able to do anything to retaliate to this onslaught. And the conclusion is pretty well clear at the moment, I would say. Torpedo's actually mostly missing now because it's sunk just a little too far. So in my feedback so far, I've actually had a few people tell me that I'm leaving rounds a little too long before I call them. Mostly, I think, in relation to the issue with the AI last round. But looking at this as well, he is completely sunk. I'm not going to waste time with the minute timer. I'm going to call this round in favour of the Toyama and get on to the next matchup. Let's see how the Steel Tiger goes spawning in first. Alright guys, so this time we have the Toyama spawning in second. The Steel Tiger's already had a couple moments to try and gain a bit of height, so hopefully this time it won't end up down in the water so easily. We had a lot of lasers coming in, but we can see a lot of smoke coming off the Toyama here. Doesn't look like much of this Daka is getting through these layered shields. Oh no, he's done some damage to one of the cannons here, but it's a bit hard to see much else of what's going on there. And the Toyama is down. Sorry that I missed that, guys. Was a bit too focused on the Toyama there. Seems that the Steel Tiger was just a little too slow to avoid all this heavy Daka coming out of the Heavy Cruiser Toyama. And as such, after a few hits, seems to lose its aerodynamics and crashes down into the water, where it's pretty well helpless, just a sitting duck. Just slowly getting chunks blown off of it. Its cannons are still shooting though when it gets the angle. And let's just see if I can see if they're making any contact. Oh yeah, he's made some contact down here, but otherwise the Toyama is looking in pretty good shape. Has it repaired up its cannon back here? No, he's got some short barrels at the end here, but that's not gonna affect him too badly. So surprisingly, the Steel Tiger is still firing here with this under turret. Whereas the Toyama seems to have slowed down a bit. I guess it's ran out of its initial ammo stocks. But as soon as that cannon stops firing, this is over for the Steel Tiger. I don't see it getting a lucky enough shot to get a big enough hole in the hull of the Toyama, as this one has almost been completely patched already. It is still firing though. Just let this play out. It is just a matter of time, I think. Alright guys, probably didn't need to let that play out. As long as I did, I was just quite enjoying that view myself. As you can see, the Steel Tiger is completely sunk, no longer firing, and I'm calling it dead. So the heavy cruiser Toyama will continue on in this competition, and unfortunately the Steel Tiger is now out. Okay guys, for our second matchup of the bracket, we have the Global Combat Ship going up against the Pelican. So we got a lot of missiles coming out of the Global Combat Ship right now, though I don't think many of them or any will connect, as the Pelican is flying directly away and they will all run out of fuel. But as this constant stream of missiles continues and the Pelican starts to come back in for its attack run, we may see a few make contact, hopefully. So the Dunker has begun, both coming in and outgoing. Couple explosions down on the Global Combat Ship, it looks like. Are any of these missiles going to make contact? Okay, we got a few missiles making contact now. But the Dunker from the Pelican has done a lot of damage, taking out the front turret and putting a bit of a hole in the hull at the front here of the Global Combat Ship, while avoiding the majority of the missiles coming out from the Global Combat Ship. He comes in for another pass. Yeah, not many of those missiles making contact. How are these bombs going though? Ooh. That's a direct hit. Global Combat Ship is fairly well armoured though. It will take a fair bit more than that to sink it. Let's just let this play out and see if the Pelican makes a bad angle attack run and runs into some of these missiles. Alright, so how are we going so far? The Pelicans made a few attack runs. As of yet, it does not seem to have done any real damage to the missile racks though, so the global combat ship is still just constantly spewing out these missiles. But none of them are making contact that I can see, so it's just a matter of time at this point, I would say. Alright guys, it looks like that pass has done some damage to the missile systems. We've only got a few firing off, still in quick succession, but... oh, he's actually also sinking. I think this might be the final attack run before this round is over and goes to the Pelican by the looks of things. Alright guys, so the global combat ship has finally sunk and is not resurfacing. So the first round of this matchup does go towards the Pelican. Let's see if we can get an upset in our next round. Alright guys, here we go with the second round of this matchup. Let's see if the global combat ship can make contact with some of these initial missiles. No, unfortunately the Pelican has not flown directly over the top of him, and as such has been able to just avoid this entire volley of missiles coming out from the global combat ship. At which point we've seen this play out once already, so unless there's a bit of an upset, I'm fairly confident that we all know what's probably going to happen here. So I'm going to keep it light on the commentary and just kind of maybe try and follow the Pelican a bit this time round, but let things play out. So far things aren't playing out that differently to the first round, except for the global combat ship's cannon is still functioning. And for once one of the Pelican's harpoons, the cable seems to have not broken, so he did a pretty tight circle there. Had an explosion popping the global combat ship up out of the water. And he's splashed back down, barely keeping afloat at this point. I don't think I'm going to have to let this play out that much longer, guys. Just try and see if any of these cannon shots are actually making contact. They seem to be firing a bit too far in front. Yeah, no, the Pelican looks fairly untouched, it would seem. Whereas the global combat ship has quite a bit of damage to its main deck. The hull looks reasonably intact for now. It's certainly a very sturdy design, just does not have the offensive capability against this type of flyer, unfortunately. And that's that front cannon gone, which pretty well was the only chance the global combat ship had of actually making contact with the Pelican, I would say. Alright guys, so there was quite a few explosions on that final pass. Let's just quickly survey the overall damage down here. We have a massive gaping hole right in the middle of the hull here. And he is slowly but surely sinking below the surface by the looks of things. Where is the Pelican actually at right now? Oh, he's doing a bit of a low float. Had to use his balloons, it seems. The Pelican has crashed. Probably hit this mountain over here. But he'll be up and going fairly soon. He's got his balloons. Here he comes, coming in for his final pass at the almost sunken global combat ship. All that darker. And nothing that the global combat ship can just do about it. Being in the water is actually not so bad for the Pelican here, as the global combat ship does not appear to be firing missiles anymore. This was its one chance to hit. No, nothing at all coming out from the global combat ship. I'm going to call this matchup in favour of the Pelican. So unfortunately the global combat ship is now out of the competition, and the Pelican will be going on into the next round. Alright, so this time we have the Volcano going head to head with the Parallel Almace. Our first matchup of today of two flyers. Let's see which one will come out on top here today. So far the Volcano only just now getting an angle to open fire with all that darker. Parallel Almace doesn't seem to have hit with any of its missiles so far, but I believe it has lasers coming out of the side there, which will be slowly doing a little bit of work. I'm not seeing too much damage on the Volcano though. Oh, these flyers are both so fast, it's kind of hard to keep up and get a good view of the action here. What do we got going on over on the Parallel Almace here? So we got some darker coming out from the back turrets, as well as, okay, they're laser guidance for the missiles. It's not lasers, so there will be no damage coming onto the Volcano. So it's a bit hard to keep track of exactly what weapons every single design has sometimes. So right now, they kind of just seem to be chasing each other around, not making any contact with either of them. This could take a while, guys. Alright guys, so I decided to restart the round, hoping that if I get them lined up well enough at the start, we'll get some damage and they'll do proper attack runs instead of just chasing each other in circles. So let's see how this turns out for us. Did not see any real damage coming off that initial pass. Hopefully the Parallel Almace will start to turn around. There we go. Just as long as the Volcano's not too fast and doesn't close the gap and just stay behind him again. which it has of course done. Oh, I think we had a couple rounds making contact here. The volcano does seem to be a bit closer on the parallel Almace's tail this time, but still not predicting its flight path well enough to make contact very reliably, it seems. If at all, I may have been mistaken in what I thought I saw. The parallel Almace is just shooting directly backwards, nowhere near where the volcano is. Yeah, okay, I know you guys all prefer time lapses and all, but I'm just gonna let this play out for like a good 20 minutes, and I'm gonna cut out. If something happens, I'll bring it back. Alright guys, here we go with our next matchup. Due to some issues with the parallel Almace and the volcano not being able to actually fight each other, I've swapped a couple of the brackets. So we now have the caster going against the parallel Almace, and the volcano will be versing the hailstorm in the next matchup. Just out of all the solutions that I've tried to get those two to fight each other without screwing things up and changing around the brackets, unfortunately I just couldn't get it to work. So far, just basically the caster has rolled itself like it has done previously. Sorry, I didn't commentate that match very well at all. I was a bit distracted telling you guys what was happening and then just watching. I've been sick, so it's been actually quite a break since I last recorded, even though this is mid-video. So the parallel Almace, good matchup for this. Just a lot of missiles coming down, huge hole in the hull of the caster, and it has rolled itself again. That was pretty well done just by the cannons. It's just not very well balanced, this ship, for broadsides, unfortunately. Where is the Almace gotten to? Has some very long attack runs. Get rid of our HUD, make things a little bit more cinematic for everyone. So just a lot of Dakar and our missiles coming in, just chunking apart the caster, which is, if I remember from previous matchups, this design has absolutely no way to ride itself, and as such I'm not going to draw this matchup out. I've had some people telling me I draw some of them out a little too long, so I'm going to call this in favour of the parallel Almace and get straight on to the second match between these two. Alright guys, so this time we got the parallel Almace spawning in second as it begins its initial attack run straight away. A lot of missiles coming out from the bottom there. Doesn't appear to have done too much damage on the initial run against the caster. I always get a little bit thrown off by the fact that the caster is actually painted in fleet colours, so every time I spawn it in on a different side it looks a little bit different. I think I prefer this to that kind of mustardy yellow. Or is it meant to be a green? I don't know, maybe I've got my screen set up wrong, but it was looking kind of mustardy yellow below all the shields on my screen to me anyway in the last matchup. So we got a lot of Darker coming out from the caster, but it is slowly but surely rolling itself again. Which, if it doesn't right itself soon, it's going to... No, yep. So unfortunately that is this ship's main weakness. It just cannot shoot sustained salvos on any angle really. I mean, that wasn't even direct to the side, that was just a slight angle and it just slowly rolled itself over. And we've seen this play out many times before. The turret is even gone, so I'm going to call this in favour of the parallel Almace. Unfortunately the caster is out of the competition and the parallel Almace will go on to fight again in our next losers bracket. Alright guys, for our final matchup today we have the Hailstorm going head to head with the Volcano. Hopefully these two flyers don't have the same issue. Ooh, big collision there which took off one of the Hailstorm's wings. I was about to say, hopefully we don't have the same issue as we had with the parallel Almace versus the Volcano, where these two can't actually make any contact with each other. That does not appear to be a problem this time around. So we got a lot of Ducker coming out from both sides here, and whew, the Volcano looks like it is just ramming its enemy. And the Hailstorm has been silenced by the look of it. It is just dropping, leaving itself completely open to this Darker. It's a very slow drop. Must have a lot of wind resistance on that upper side. Just slowly gliding down. And finally landing, not even in the water, on land. And just completely open to these attack runs from the Volcano. It is slowly repairing up, but I will give it a couple more attack runs, see how we go. I'm pretty sure that the Volcano has taken this round. Alright guys, with that last salvo I'm going to call this, get on to our second matchup between these two. Let's see if we have an upset. Alright, so we've got the Volcano spawning in second this time, as it immediately starts unloading its salvos. Hailstorm appears to have done the same. A lot of damage to the front of the Hailstorm there. Let's see just what's happened here. Okay, it's lost a large portion of its front, and we've knocked out one of its cannon installations. It appears to have also lost power. We're not seeing any flight coming out of it, and that second salvo has just completely torn him apart. Unfortunately, he has not done any better spawning in first, and that was a very quick matchup. So the Hailstorm unfortunately is out of our tournament, and the Volcano moves on. I'm gonna have to look at the bracketing and make sure that it's not fighting the parallel Almace again. Hopefully one of those two gets knocked out before I'm forced to put them head to head again, because kind of running out of ideas on how to make them fight each other without just having them sit dead and shoot at each other. Alright guys, sorry about the huge delay on everything. I would like to blame just my health for it, but Truth is, after being so sick and that, I probably was a bit lax in getting back into this. I probably didn't do it as quickly as I could, and I really apologise for that, everyone. I'm working on recording at least the next 2 rounds today, and hopefully they will all go up within a couple hours of each other, depending on my internet speed. Until next time, guys, like I said, as usual, always appreciate the feedback and criticism, and I'll catch you guys in the winners bracket.